Stop scrolling if you bought tickets, book a hotel, or applied as a vendor for Windblume Festival 2026 at the Mesquite Convention Center at the Hampton Inn in Mesquite, Texas, near Dallas. Fandom Events website now states that the company has ceased operations and will not produce future events. It also says certain event names, branding, and digital assets were transferred to Lion and Crown on January 26, 2026. However, the website states that Lion and Crown did not assume Fandom Events debts, liabilities, refund obligations, or past claims. Of course, they're not going to refund or they're not going to take responsibility or financial accountability to refund vendors, attendees, staff for all the previous convention events they held from Fandom Events. I contacted both the Fandom Events and Windblume Facebook pages in May and received no meaningful response. Meanwhile, old event pages and ticket listings created continued confusions for customers, at least from Tixar.com on Tixar ticketing platforms. I am not declaring anyone guilty of fraud without verified evidence. I am calling out serious warning signs, red flags, silence, unclear ownership, conflicting information, and no transparent refund process. Save every receipt, save every invoice, and screenshot. Document all this. Contact the ticket platform, venue, and payment provider. Your bank, credit card for chargebacks. Do not send additional money without written confirmation. Share this to protect other attendees, consumers, customers, especially if you have bought or purchased your early bird ticket for the future of Windblume 2026, which is taking place August 21st to 23rd, the same date as ColossalCon Texas at Kalahari Indoor Water Park in Round Rock, Texas. Same date. Share this to protect other attendees. Fandom Events sees operations, event brands transferred to Lion and Crown. Lion and Crown says it did not assume the refunds or debts, and there's no clear answer. Public statement: Fandom Events, business accountability, and convention safety. Good day, everyone. This is your boy, General Sunbeam GS, reporting for another content here on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, Twitch, Pinterest, DeviantArt, Discord, Blue Sky or Blue Page, Telegram, WhatsApp, all these social media platforms where it may get shared or reposted. Appreciate the share and repost. Again, this is General Sunbeam, Sunbeam007 reporting. Today, I am speaking about consumer protection, business accountability, convention safety, and the importance of exercising good judgment when interacting with unfamiliar people. When you go to conventions or public events or these pop up events, we go out in public in general, out on the streets, in cities, seeing all the buildings, going to Starbucks or going grocery shopping. It's good to exercise good judgment when interacting with people that you don't know. So, this is General Sunbeam, and at the time of this recording, this is before 10 a.m. Today is July 10th, 2026, Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. It is Friday, July 10th, 2026. It is around 9:05 a.m. Texas Central Daytime. So before 10 a.m., before the lunch rush. Definitely still breakfast hour at the time of this recording. So at the time of this content production, when making this video, this is here regarding Fandom Events / Lion and Crown and Windblume Festival 2026 update. And of course, ColossalCon Texas also falls on the same date, taking place at Kalahari Indoor Water Park in Round Rock, Texas, USA, here on the mainland. This discussion includes my concerns regarding Fandom Events, Windblume Festival 2026, Lion and Crown LLC, and the larger issue of questionable or poorly managed businesses operating within convention communities. I want to begin with an important clarification. I am not declaring that any person has committed fraud, theft, or another crime. I do not know if that's true with Fandom Events, but I'm not declaring that immediately. But I will declare that as a red flag and as shady business and bad business practice. Those are legal conclusions that require verified evidence and, where applicable, findings by the proper authorities, court findings, law enforcement, not another not another rumor from Reddit, 4chan, and other internet sleuths like myself or other of you commentators, viewers, or audience making rumors or possible false claims that are not true and communicated by local authorities or police. I will separate documented information from allegations, rumors, hearsay, he said, she said, personal opinions, misinformations, and information shared through social media from all of you, again, viewers, audience, commentators, response, that are only just testimonies and substantial uh, evidence of every future or past attendees' experience. I mean, they're not the same as law enforcement or public statement from law or court laws and authorities. My purpose is to encourage transparency, honesty, protect consumers, and help attendees recognize warning signs, red flags before they spend money, travel long distances, book hotels, book flights, travel flights, enter unfamiliar environments, even getting lost, or place their trust in people they barely know. Money itself is not the root of every problem. As they say that money is the root of all evil, but money itself is not the root of every problem. The real problem begins when organizations collect money without maintaining honest communication, clear records, responsible leadership, and a reliable process for resolving customer concerns and complaints. When people purchase convention tickets, like the early bird special, the early bird tickets since last year for Thursday after the Windblume 2025 concluded for the future of Windblume 2026, taking place at the same location in Mesquite Convention Center at the Hampton Inn Hotel in the same area, same city, which also going to be taking place the same date as ColossalCon, Texas. So anyway, when people purchase convention tickets, vendor spaces, sponsorships, hotel rooms, transportation, costumes, cosplays, merchandise, or travel arrangements, they are not simply buying an object. They are making plans around a promise. They may request time away from work, RTO, request time off from work, PTO, vacation time. They may arrange childcare, babysitters. They may drive several hours or purchase airplane tickets, in rare occasion taking a cruise to travel across seas. Vendors may manufacture inventory and pay hundreds or thousands of dollars for products, displays, lodging, fuel, and staffing. When an event organizer becomes silent, changes business entities, cancels events, transfers brands, or leaves customers or consumers uncertain about refunds, basically leaving customers in the dark, the consequences extend far beyond the original ticket price. Regarding Windblume Festival 2026, the future of that convention. That is why communication is not optional. It is a basic responsibility. And I know I have covered this in numerous live streams, like 7 or 9 live streams, and I have covered this on separate contents, posting images, Facebook posts, Instagram, warning consumers and spreading this message far and wide, calling out the owners of Fandom Event slash Lion and Crown under the same ownership, of course. I mean, I know that they filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Amarillo, Texas, in the northern Texas of district or something. At least that's from what I understand and based on the research that I'm able to ascertain. Now, now let me get back to what I was reading here. So yes, when organizers become silent and doesn't communicate to all the customers, there's a problem. So yes, communication is not optional. It is basic responsibility to all the consumers, attendees, future attendees that spent their hard-earned money on the early bird tickets or any early tickets for a convention in the future. The documented fandom events concerns. According to the official information and communications I documented, Fandom Events publicly stated that it had ceased operations and would not produce future events. The company's website stated that on January 26, 2026, certain intellectual property assets, including event names, branding, and related digital assets, were sold or assigned to Lion and Crown LLC. The same statement said that Lion and Crown did not assume responsibility for Fandom Events, debts, liabilities, contracts, refund obligations, or claims involving previous events, which is very dishonest and shady. That sounds like a red flag for sure. Stealing all the attendees, vendors, artists' money in a sense. That's shady and a definition of con artist right there. I don't like scammers, con artists, and I am calling out for what it is. Trying to stop these bad business practice, theft, frauds, and stealing money or embezzlement. Publicity or publicly available information also indicated that Fandom Events filed a voluntary Chapter 7 bankruptcy case in the Northern District of Texas on January 30, 2026. At the same time, Windblume Festival 2026 had continued to appear publicly through event pages and ticket related listings for August 21st through August 23rd, Friday through Sunday at the Mesquite Convention Center within the same uh in the same hotel, the Hampton Inn Hotel. Also, the same date for the future of ColossalCon Texas at Kalahari Indoor Water Park in Ramrock, Texas. This created a serious and understandable questions for customers or attendees. If Fandom Events had ceased operations and would no longer produce events, what exactly was the status of Windblume Festival 2026? Gee, I'm curious. What's the status of Windblume Festival 2026 then? Is there no clear answer or update about that convention? It is July 10th, 2026 already. And it's like 41 or 40 days away into Windblume Festival 2026. Same date as ColossalCon Texas, too. Was it canceled? Was it postponed? Was it transferred to Lion Crown, which is basically the same ownership? Would existing tickets still be honored? Would customers receive refunds? Would vendors receive their payments back? Same thing with the attendees. Would the venue still host the event? Those questions should have received direct, written, and timely answers. I contacted the Fandom Events Facebook page on May 10th, 2026, and sent screenshots with an inquiry regarding the status of Windbloom 2026. I separately contacted the Windbloom Facebook page on May 13th and May 15th. I asked whether the event was still happening and what would happen to customers who had purchased the early bird weekend passes or VIP admission. I also attempted to communicate through the organization's website chat. According to the records I preserved, I did not receive a meaningful response to those concerns by July 10th, which is today, July 10th, at the time of this recording, at the time of this content. My documentation also includes the official status language. They reported corporate transfer, bankruptcy information, event listings, third-party convention records, and messages exchanged with members of the convention community. Pretty much from the Discord, the flagship Discord or something. I cannot prove that a particular owner or employee personally opened every message. I can only state that the public-facing channels I contacted did not provide me with a sufficient answer. That distinction matters. We, the attendees, should not exaggerate what we know, but we also should not minimize documented silence when customers may have money at risk, spending their money for a ticket, an early bird ticket special for the future of the event, a convention event that suddenly cease to exist because of the main brand ceases operations and is eluding financial obligation, which is retarded. Why this situation is concerning: a business can experience financial hardship, events can be canceled, venues can become unavailable, sponsors can withdraw, attendance can fall below expectations, emergencies can happen. The existence the existence of a financial problem does not automatically make someone a criminal. Of course, not always the case. However, responsible business communicate. They issue a clear announcement. They identify which event is affected. They explain whether tickets remain valid. They provide a refund process. They identify the responsible company. They give customers a working email address or support contact. They establish a reasonable timetable. They do not require customers to investigate social media pages, bankruptcy records, business registrations, convention databases, and old ticket listings merely to determine whether an event still exists. When different pages provide conflicting information, the organizer should correct those pages immediately, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter X, YouTube, Rumble, Twitch. When a company ceases operations, old sales pages should not remain active in a way that could confuse customers. When a brand is transferred to another company, the new company should clearly explain what it purchased and what did it not assume. When refunds are unavailable because of bankruptcy or another legal process, affected consumers should receive understandable instructions explaining their options. Silence creates suspicion, vague statements create confusion, conflicting listings create financial risk, and a lack of accountability damages trust across the entire convention industry or undermines the entire convention industry. Calling out questionable practices responsibly. People often use words such as scammer, con artist, fraud, or shady business. Those words carry serious implications. I mean, to be fair, I am being honest. I've been seeing a lot of scammers and con artists and all these related dishonest businesses, all about theft and stealing the hardworking Americans' money. We should call out warning signs, but we should do so accurately. Instead of immediately declaring someone guilty, identify the conduct that concerns you. Like for example, an organizer stopped responding after accepting payment. An event page remained active after operations reportedly ceased. Refund procedures were not clearly published. A venue could not confirm the event. The business changed names or entities without clearly explaining customer obligations. Ticket holders were redirected between the organizer, ticket platform, venue, and payment company. Public statements contradicted previous advertisements. Those are specific observations. Specific facts are stronger than insults. Documentation is stronger than rumor. A dated screenshot is stronger than someone told me. A written contract is stronger than a verbal promise. A bank record is stronger than an emotional argument. When you encounter a questionable business, preserve the facts before posting publicly. Save the advertisement. Save the event date and location. Save the ticket receipt or invoice. Save the refund policy that existed when you purchased the ticket. Save your messages. Save the organizer's response or lack of response. Save any cancellation announcement. Say relevant emails from the ticket platform. If you speak publicly, clearly identify what you personally witnessed, what was published by the organization, what was reported by another source, and what remains unconfirmed. That protects your credibility and makes it harder for dishonest organizations to dismiss legitimate concerns as gossip. Financial safety before attending a convention. Before purchasing a ticket, research the organizer or the convention event. Look at the company's event history. Check whether previous events occurred as advertised. Search for cancellation notice, refund disputes, venue changes, unpaid vendors, or repeated communication problems. One negative comment does not automatically prove misconduct or any form of criminal behavior or disorderly conduct, but a consistent pattern should not be ignored. Confirm the event through more than one source. Do not rely only on a social media flyer. Check the organizer's official website, the venue calendar, and the ticket platform. For major travel expenses, contact the venue directly and ask whether the event is confirmed for the advertised dates. Be careful with non-refundable hotel reservations. Whenever practical, select a reservation that allows cancellation. Do not assume the event's hotel block guarantees that the convention itself is secured. Is secure. Verify the hotel's cancellation terms independently. Use a payment method that provides records and dispute protections. Avoid sending large payments through informal peer-to-peer services unless you fully understand the risk and know exactly who is receiving the money. Do not pay a vendor fee, sponsorship fee, artist table fee, or hotel room share based only on a private message. Request a written invoice or agreement. Verify the company name receiving the payment. Confirm what will happen if the event is canceled, postponed, transferred, or moved. Read refund deadlines carefully. Most would say all sales are final, no refunds. Payment disputes often have strict time limits. Waiting several months for an organizer to get back to you can reduce the options available through your bank or credit card company. Monitor your email, including spam and promotional folders, for notice from the organizer or ticketing company. And never send additional money simply because someone says your original purchase must be upgraded, transferred, or verified. Confirm the request through an official channel first. Vendor, artist, guest, and contractor safety. Vendors and artists face additional risks because they may invest heavily before the convention begins. Do not rely solely on projected attendance numbers. Ask whether those numbers represent actual ticket sales, estimated visitors, social media followers, or attendance from a previous year. Read the vendor agreement closely. Confirm booth size, table access, electricity, internet availability, setup times, security, refund terms, insurance requirements, and what happens if the event is canceled. Guests, performers, photographers, panelists, security worker, and contractors should also obtain written terms. A verbal promise of hotel coverage, travel reimbursement, appearance fees, or payment after the event is difficult to enforce without documentation. Keep copies of contracts outside the organizer's online portal. Take screenshots of payment, dashboards, and schedules. Do not assume that because an organizer appears friendly at conventions, the business is financially stable. Friendship and business are not the same thing. A person can be entertaining, sociable, recognizable, and well connected while still operating an organization irresponsibly, which is possible. Professional trust should be based on consistent conduct, not popularity. Personal safety around strangers. Let me check. Okay. Oh, okay. So as I was saying, again, personal safety around strangers. Conventions can be exciting social environments. People attend to celebrate anime, gaming, comics, manga, cosplay, art, music, performance, and shared interests. Many genuine friendships begin at conventions. However, a shared fandom does not automatically make someone trustworthy. Oh, yeah. A costume does not establish character. A convention badge does not establish identity. A large social media following does not establish safety. A mutual friend does not guarantee that you know someone well. It is reasonable to be friendly while allowing trust to develop gradually. When meeting someone for the first time, remain in a public area. Meet in the convention center, hotel lobby, restaurant, cafe, or another populated place. Avoid immediately going to a stranger's hotel room, vehicle, private residence, or isolated location. Tell a trusted friend where you are going. Use a buddy system, particularly at night, late at night. Share your plans with someone who will notice if you do not return. Share your plans with someone who will notice if you do not return. Or at least I would notice. I pay attention. Keep your phone charged. Keep your phone charged at all times if possible. Carry a portable charger. Know the address of your hotel and convention venue. Identify security desks and emergency exits when you arrive. Do not depend entirely on another person for transportation. Have a backup plan involving a ride-share service, taxi, public transportation, trusted friend, or enough money to return safely. If you accept a ride from someone, verify the driver, vehicle, and destination, like Uber, Lyft, taxi, bus, any public transit. Do not enter a vehicle simply because someone claims to know your friends. Don't fall for that. Hotel room boundaries. Hotel rooms create special safety concerns. Do not share a room with unfamiliar people solely to reduce the price. I mean, there are room shares, and it's good to get to know them. So take your time to get to know them as much as possible. But otherwise, do not share a room with unfamiliar people solely to reduce the price, which somewhat would be unavoidable. Saving money is not worth losing control over your belongings, privacy, sleeping arrangements, or personal safety. Well, that is true. Before sharing lodging or any crashing space, establish clear expectations regarding payment, guests, noise, alcohol, smoking, sleeping spaces, check-in, check-out, keys, and personal property. Do not allow additional guests into a shared room without agreement from everyone paying for the room. Keep valuables secured. Do not leave identification, cash, medication, badges, electronics, or car keys unattended, including your phone and your drinks. Do not post your room number publicly. Do not announce that you are alone. If someone pressures you to enter their room, stay overnight, drink, or participate in something that makes you uncomfortable, leave. You have the right to leave and you have the right to report harassment. Peer pressure should not be the answer and should not be the case. You do not owe anyone access to your time, body, room, car, money, or personal information. No is a complete answer. Respect that. Protecting food and drinks. Keep control of your food and drinks. Do not leave a drink unattended and then continue consuming it. Do not accept an open beverage from someone you do not trust. Watch your alcohol intake. Know your limits. Conventions often involve long hours, heat, heavy costumes, dehydration, poor sleep, and limited meals. Alcohol can intensify those conditions. Eat regularly, drink water, take breaks. Oops. If you begin feeling unusually dizzy, confused, weak, nauseated, or disoriented, alert a trusted friend or event security and seek medical assistance. Do not allow an unfamiliar person to isolate you when you are impaired or unwell. Now, harassment, pressure, and manipulation. Pay attention to behavior, not just words. A person may appear friendly while testing your boundaries. Warning signs can include pressuring you to keep secrets, demanding constant attention, becoming angry when you spend time with others, asking for money shortly after meeting, repeatedly touching you without permission, or again, cosplay is not consent, requesting private photographs or videos, trying to separate you from your friends, or using professional opportunities as leverage. Be cautious about all that, and be cautious when someone promise you employment, modeling work, photography, voice acting, convention access, a free hotel room, a guest badge, or industry connections without providing written details, backing all that up. Legitimate opportunities can withstand reasonable questions. Ask who is involved, ask where the work will occur, ask whether payment is involved, ask how images or recordings will be used, ask for references, ask for a written agreement. Do not allow fear of appearing rude to override your instincts. You are permitted to leave a conversation, you are permitted to block someone, you are permitted to report misconduct, you are permitted to change your mind, and you have a right to all that. Now, cosplay and photography boundaries. Cosplay is not consent, as I said earlier. Person wearing a costume is still entitled to personal and space and dignity. Ask before taking close photographs, and ask before touching a costume, prop, wig, or the person wearing it. Do not pressure, and the saying. Ask before laying a hand. Second part, I had to step out, take a breather, catch my breath, and drink some water. Got to drink my water. Okay, now to reiterate what I said. So just be aware of your surroundings, pay attention, do not get distracted, and stay safe. Conventions come with risk and potential dangers among the crowd. I have seen 911 incidents and distressed attendees before. So stay safe, be aware of your surrounding, pay attention, and again, do not get distracted. It's fun and games until someone gets hurt or gets in trouble with the law. When a serious incident occurs at a convention, prioritize your immediate safety by moving to a populated area, contacting convention or hotel security, venue staff, volunteers, or law enforcement as appropriate, and documenting the time, location, witnesses, badge information, usernames, vehicles, messages, and other relevant evidence without removing important context from screenshots. Public awareness can help, but it should never replace formal reporting through security, police, or law enforcement agencies, financial institutions, attorneys, or consumer protection agencies. And it should not become an online harassment campaign. At the same time, convention safety does not mean treating every stranger as an enemy. Most attendees are there to enjoy the event, take pictures, create memories, create friends, make new friends, that kind of ordeal. It's common sense why convention or events exist. It's a social gathering, for God's sake. So most attendees are there to enjoy the event, make friends, make new friends, take pictures, create content, live stream, blog, vlog, all that. And the goal should be informed trust, trust building, earning trust, respectful communication, and firm boundaries. And of course, communication. Trust, trust should be earned through time, consistency, accountability, and respect, regardless of a person's popularity, influence, appearance, talent, or connections. Regarding Fandom Events, Windblume and Lion and Crown, affected customers deserve clear written answers about whether Windblume Festival 2026 is happening or still going to happen or will be happening in the next 41 or 40 days as of July 10th, 2026 at the time of this content. Either again, Windblume 2026 is happening, canceled, postponed, or transferred. Whether tickets will be honored or refunded. For those that purchased the early bird special, the early bird tickets since last year after Windblume Festival 2025 concluded, who controls the ticket relationship? Whether the venue remains confirmed, and who is responsible for customer, vendor, artist, guest, and contractor claims. My concern is the lack of transparency, conflicting information, unanswered questions, and the absence of a clear resolution process. And I encourage every involved organization to publish specific event statuses, refund instructions, customer service contacts, and deadlines. Convention communities depend on trust between organizers, attendees, vendors, guests, venues, and friends. And when that trust is misused, the harm spreads throughout the entire community and even onto here, social media, and the general public of the internet. That's why I call it the wrath of the internet, because once it's on the internet, it's going to spread like wildfire. Other people is going to document and complain about Fandom Events and other conventions for dishonest, embezzlement, fraudulence, all these red flags, pointing out every red flags out there. And I'm one of those people that was part of the internet that will communicate and spread the word and to punish scammers and con artists, making sure they're behind bars and they're prosecuted and they're called out. We must support honest businesses, document before accusing, verify and validate before purchasing, read agreements carefully, protect our finances, our hard earned money, and personal information. Respect boundaries, use the buddy system, and remain aware of our surroundings. My lifelong goal, now again, this is me here. My lifelong goal is to pitch, produce, and become an anime creator and producer of my original series, Supremacy Clash Between Heroes and Villains, for television while working professionally with anime studios and industry partners. And I cannot stress that enough. And I want to pursue that goal through integrity, accountability, honesty, creativity, and respect for the audiences and communities I hope to serve. This is General Sunbeam. Stay informed, stay respectful, stay alert, pay attention, and protect one another. We are a family, we are neighbors, we are the big otaku pop culture attendees. We, the attendees, deserve clear, crystal clear answers, honesty, better communication, and not be left in the dark, ignored from dishonest, red flag con artists or suspected scammers like Fandom Events slash Lion and Crown. This discussion is for general consumer awareness and public safety purposes. It is not legal advice, and allegations should not be treated as established facts without strong, credible evidence from law enforcement or public sources like from court laws, or an official finding. And that's all I gotta say. And that's the update. And that's the memo. This is General Sunbeam. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hearing me out. And thank you for following me. I appreciate the shares, reposts, and of course, help me support my journey to become an anime producer. Hoping anyone can look the other way and help me get my own anime on television, on the streaming platforms. Peace.